Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2016 Absa Cape Epic.
Welcome to another episode of Inside 8 Days of Courage. The visuals you've just seen bring us to our new location, Boschendal in Stellenbosch, and we are at the end of stage 5 of the 2016 Absa Cape Epic, and another dramatic day it's been. Joining me on set today is Ben Benson, the news producer for the international feed, also directs our highlights package in the evening, and we're joined by NAD professional cycling team, Gabi Combrink and Nico Bell. We'll be chatting all things the Epic, but before we get to that, let's have a look at the news highlights from today's action.
The fifth stage was dubbed the Queen Stage, with 2,500 metres of climbing in less than 100 kilometres, and it was clear from the early pace that the general classification contenders were keen to ride aggressively. A succession of steep climbs soon thinned the lead group out as they made their way along the lower slopes of the Hawekwa Mountains. The yellow jerseys of Team Bulls Carl Platt and Urs Hooper made use of the backup team to set the pace. In amongst the group were Dolomiti Superbike, Trek Celeste Marco and Centurion Voda by Mirandal. The relentless nature of the terrain meant that only the very strong could maintain the tempo, and by the last major challenge up Freedom Struggle climb, only a select few had survived. Centurion Voda's Robach and Fromme, Elias and Ferreira of Dolomiti, Bulls and Poron Ferraro of Trek Celeste Marco. The Bone Crusher descent split the group further, and on the long drag towards the finish it was only two teams, Platt and Huber and Centurion Voda. Coming into the finish, Platt was unable to get between Robach and Fromme after Huber had gone up the road, and the Centurion Voda team collect their second stage win of the week.
Yeah, after today's stage, we had lots of trouble in the stage, and but I'm happy that we didn't lose any time and finished second. So I think it's going. I can't wait till we go to Merendal. Now it gets a little bit. Yeah, everyone is a little bit tired, and it's just counting kilometers.
The Sasol women's race was another intriguing tactical battle as Spur Specialized set about defending their race leaders' orange jerseys, whilst the three pursuers looked for an opportunity to snatch a stage win. The Sasol hotspot at 31 kilometres was taken by Sabine Spitz and Jana Balamoina of Sport for Good. Over the final climb, it was down to Bigham and Murat of Topi Gergen, Kleinans and Langfeld of Spur Specialized, and the Sport for Good pair. The latter combination managed to open a gap on the Bone Crusher descent and held on to that advantage for the next 10 kilometres to take their first stage win in their debut epic. With 2 stages to go, Team Bulls have a vice-like grip on the general classification. 3 of these 6 men are experiencing the race for the first time. Sasol women's leaders Spur Specialized are in an even stronger position as they chase a 3rd consecutive victory.
Some of the action from today's stage, and well, both Bulls and the Spur Specialized team playing the numbers game today, playing it safe, and I think saving their legs. One more big stage tomorrow, and then the final run into Merendal on Sunday. Ben, you've spent a lot of time behind the cameras, watching and producing and directing feeds. Anything that stands out in your mind in particular about your years on the Epic?
Yeah, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of things, and hopefully we try and capture them and put them in our shows and send them around the world. I mean, for me, I suppose there was there was a few moments. I think my first epic was 2007, but definitely 2008 stands out. Roel Polensen and Jakob Fuglsang, or however you pronounce it. That was quite a magic one because there was a big battle going on. There was riding on rims for miles and miles and miles, and also back in those days we weren't quite as slick as far as the big machine of the Epic, and also the big machine of the television as well. So it was kind of, we sort of captured some gold and tried to get it around the world.
Yeah, super. Well, we joined in studio by NAD professional cycling team Javi and Nico. Guys, thanks very much. Welcome. You're obviously one of the big goals for the Epic would have been the ABSA African jerseys, and started off on day one with a lot of mechanical problems. I mean, it's not over yet, but a little disappointed sitting here today.
Yeah, obviously on the prologue, we just wanted to get in the top 10, and we've only lost about 10 seconds to Darren and Wayland. We knew they're going to be the strongest competition for us. So yeah, we obviously went into stage 1, in a good place, and we had a bit of mechanicals, more user error. We from previous years we should know, you need to run more sealant in your tires, so we lost a bit of air, and we had to do various wheel changes, and we lost quite a bit of time on the first day, and we also lost out on the group riding, and we had to be by ourselves, so we also spent a lot of energy on the first day already.
Javi, from your point of view, it's not over yet. Is there something inside you that still says, hey, we've got 2 days, we've got 2 stages, anything can happen?
Well, yeah, the back is the gap is quite big. I think if they don't mess up, it's pretty much over. But I've done other races where guys had a big lead on the last day and they lost it by mechanical. But obviously we never hoped that would happen. Darren Wayland's ridden a great race so far, so hats off to them.
Nico, looking at, your preparation, did you change it? I know you spent a lot of time very successfully helping Christoph Sauser in many of his wins. You now being freed from that role. Has that changed your approach to racing the Epic?
Yeah, obviously the last 2 years, I've been riding with Eric Kleinans, and we've obviously been doing backup for Christoph Sauser. Your preparation is slightly different. You want to have good form, but you don't want to be 100%, for the race, because you are in a backup role. So it's not an A race for you. This year it was really important for us. We sort of set free, and me and Javi can obviously try and go for the Africans. So we've changed a few things, did a few road races, maybe one too many. But obviously our preparation went well. We didn't get sick before the Epic, so it all comes down to how you are this 1 week. If your form is either there or it's not, and you don't know until you start the race. And obviously, if you come into the race and you're slightly overtrained or slightly undertrained, depends on how you're going to be at the end of the race.
Yeah.
I think our preparation obviously was great. Our equipments and everything is also fine, you know. So it's just pretty much just working together and getting through it, and just staying clear of mechanicals and hoping obviously to come out top at the end of the race.
Yeah. We heard Carl Platt saying it's a case for the bulls now of counting kilometers, and we were also joking about guys saying, what day is it today? Is it Wednesday? Is it Thursday? Do you get to that stage in the Epic where your entire world obviously revolves around racing, but is it a case for you of just counting down the kilometers and losing track of the real world?
Well, yeah, I think when you do the Epic, you're in a little bubble. You know, you just eat, sleep, race, and repeat every day. When it's going well, you love it. When it's really hard, you go into some dark places, and then you start counting the kilometers.
I was just wondering, guys. I mean, we see you coming through the finish line every day, and we see you out on the course through the cameras, whatever else. For the Epic, how do you especially when we're on day 5, and traditionally athletes, train 5 days, have a day off, train 6 days, have a day off. We're kind of going into day 6 and 7 and 8. How would you prepare for something like that isn't sort of a traditional training pattern?
Yeah, obviously you have to sort of factor that in, that your recovery is not going to be as great. So, and also the time as well that you've been riding, it's the other thing is also you can't really measure is your exertions, of your arms, and obviously the mental side of things also, going up a steep hill, the sun. So there's a lot of different factors, but we just sort of do a bigger block of training. So you do a 6 or 7 day block instead of just doing a short 3 day block and resting, then doing another 3 day block. So we've done a few road tours, 5 days, 6 day road tours in preparation for this race, and obviously last year so we've done a few races, also preparation for the Epic.
Who's the grumpy one in the team, guys?
Well, it depends how the days goes.
And in terms of mechanicals, I mean, is either of you the guy who's more au fait with the way the bike needs to get put together? Are you both pretty good at it?
Well, Nico actually owns a bike shop, so he's a really great mechanic. So usually, when I stuff up a little bit, he's always cool, calm, and collected, and he knows how to fix it really quickly. If you have a problem on the bike, he's definitely the guy to have by your side.
Okay.
But surely, Nico, you must have had a few head-to-heads with Christoph over the years about mechanical stuff. You know what he's like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Christoph, it's all about lightweight. He always rides the lighter stuff. So, last year we also had to make sure we also, had the equipment available also to help him. And last year we were able to help him a few times, and we're just glad, obviously, for him to take his 5th win. And obviously, it's always great for him to retire on a high note. Yeah.
And of course, Cole Harvey as well, with his derailleur and breaking chains and whatever else. I mean, you must have been straight in there for that.
Yeah, that was quite funny. We got there and he had his wheel out, and we were like, what's going on? Why is your wheel out? And Eric was taking his wheel off, and then all of a sudden it's like, Harvey's trying to explain to me, it's not actually his wheel. He doesn't actually have a puncture. He's a rear derailleur. So, from previous experience with customers coming into the shop, you see the derailleur push forward. So I knew I had to just push it forward in the position and just sort of pull it back so that the chain can regain its tension.
Yeah. Guys, thank you very much. Harvey Combrink, Nico Bell from NAD Professional Cycling Team. Best of luck. It's not over. 2 days left. I'm not wishing bad on Darren and Waylon, but hopefully you guys have a good 2 days to end it off. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We're now going to go to our Dimension data section. Some fantastic analytical information coming through that allows us to take looks at what is happening, the performances of different teams at different areas on the course. We're going to go to a graphic on screen now from Dimension data. And if you have a look on screen, Ben, today we're looking at the speed on the freedom, struggle, climb, and the descents. 3 things come to mind that I can see on this. Firstly, the very obvious one is the mechanical for Darren and for Waylon, USN Purefit. 77 Ks, they were up and down, but in the mix, the fastest climbers at one point, and then of course that massive drop
Yeah,
off.
you can see that. I mean, that's it's funny. We've been looking at the footage that's been coming back, and they seem to be having this. I haven't spoken to them about it. They seem to be having very similar mechanicals day after day. It's a puncture that generally goes in the top of the tyre, and they don't lose much time. They're very quick at fixing them, but it's a very similar problem. So hopefully they can address that and continue their lead with the African jersey.
Yeah. The other interesting fact, Dolomiti Superbike. You see them on the descent. They were mixing it up and down on the climb, but then on the descent, a huge peak in speed, and then they just suddenly started to drop off. Which is fairly unusual, around 78 kilometers.
Yeah, you do wonder what happened there. Maybe there was a conversation between the pair of them that they were looking good, and don't risk too much, etc., etc. I mean, they do have their eyes still on the firmly on the GC as well.
Yeah. Stage winners today: Centurion, Vaude, My Mirandol 2, slow and steady all the time. They were really slow. One of the slowest teams, in fact, on the climb and the descent, and then a big sprint from them over the last couple of kilometers, and that they took out the stage win. So there we go. Some interesting stuff from Dimension Data from the graphics, and we look forward to some more of those graphics as the show continues during the week. Right, we've got two more guests. We've got a bonus feature for you on the show today on Inside 8 Days of Courage. We're joined by Topik Ergen 2, Eric and Jeremiah. Guys, welcome. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
It's obvious today we've had lots of disappointed guests. Another pair of disappointed guests, yeah, or maybe not so disappointed because you guys are freed up to race. But your number one team, obviously the problem with Christian going over the handlebars and out of the race, and you guys have been with him. He's obviously not in best of moods at the moment.
Oh, for sure. I think that the team come here to try and win the men's and the ladies race. So definitely disappointment in the camp. I think especially for Alban coming to this race a few years, never really getting the victory. Last year they came close, but Christoph and Jaroslav was just too strong. So I think for them it's quite disappointing, and for us as well. I mean, we get employed by the team to come and race here in support for them. So for us it's a little bit of a drawback as well. We had to sacrifice some time early in the race, also maybe not killing ourselves towards the end. So now for us, we're not really in the mix for the overall contention. So yeah, we're just now enjoying the stages and just ride as hard as we can.
Yeah. Topik, in your contract, you're known for your hairstyle. Was there a clause in your contract that you had to have a haircut?
Yeah, I had to pay a very big fine when I cut my hair.
Yeah, I've been trying to grow my hair out just to keep up, but I'm well behind.
I was going to say, surely it's the aerodynamics, is it poking out the top, slowing you down a bit?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's extra protection, so I don't actually need a helmet, so I think I still have to go to the UCI and see if I can get a clause that I can ride with just my mop off hair.
Just paint a chin strap on, you'll be fine.
Yeah, we have the goals of style points, not just GC. We've crawled our way up to 10th in the GC, but style points are important. I mean, I think it's it's fun for the morale. If you're having a good time, you're trying to turn it around. The morale, like Eric said, in the camp was just rock bottom. I mean, the look on Christian's face and Alban, I mean, it was just silent. You could drop a pin. Yeah. And everyone for months, years, have been looking forward to this race. Yeah. And winning this race was a mission. Yeah. A mission from the team, a mission from Canyon, Topik, Ergon, all of our support staff, all the preparation, the plans, the training camps, racing Andalusia in Spain. So it's a lot hanging on it. But at the end of the day, today and yesterday, Eric and I felt what it felt like to ride and to be healthy and to be able to just hit some jumps, you rail through the corners, kick up some dust, and just have a great time. And, I think that's our goal coming out of this, is just to enjoy the epic. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, we obviously run around and do interviews and try and catch people when they can, hopefully on their best moments. And it's been difficult, obviously, for your team, but also, we're interviewing the girls as well. And how affected are they by something like that obviously is damaging to the whole team? Just how affected are they by something like that? Because they've obviously got to, keep the motivation up and look to their own race. And just what does it do to them, do you think?
Well, I think for sure they maybe feel it a little bit as well. But on the other hand, we have a whole media crew here with the team, and now they're getting a bit more attention. So for them, it's maybe a little bit of an extra boost now that they get a bit more of the attention as well. So I think they feel it, maybe like all of us, because I think the team is very close. I mean, I'm quite a newbie in the team, but I already feel very at home and comfortable with everybody. Maybe not that comfortable though.
On that note, is there anything that happens at the Epic that stays at the Epic?
No, we have separate beds in our camper. So
moving right along, Jeremiah, you alluded earlier to the fact that you guys are now just going out and getting crazy and going full gas and throwing the tail out. Is that your approach for the last few days, just to go out and have fun?
well, we're opportunists. We race bikes, and it's if given the chance to perform, we'll give our very best, and that's all that we can expect of ourselves. And if we get an opportunity for stage top 3, then that would be fantastic. But moving top 10 into GC, this is the Mountain Bike Tour de France. This is very high level. We came in, we had some setbacks with obviously giving up a shoe and all these crazy things that happened during the race. But hey, top 10 GC, I think it'd be great.
And your plans once the Epic is done and dusted, do you stay and ride for a while in these beautiful winelands, or are you going to head back to the US?
Heading back to stay with my son Conrad, Beatrix, and wife Erin, and it's a lot of time away from home. Professional bike racer, full season after this, so this is just the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's the end of some people's season, but we have a full summer, so taking a little break and begin.
So it's obviously very early days as well, but obviously what everybody wants to know is, what are Christian and Albin saying about next year? Because it's the one on the list that Albin hasn't won, Christian has. What are they saying?
Oh, for sure. Early. Already the talks is about coming back. This race won't change. It will just get bigger and bigger, so it will stay as important as it is now. So I think everybody in the team's got 2-year contracts, so for sure they will still. The plan is for them to come back and for Albin to get that elusive win.
Yeah, it's a big priority, and it's the biggest mountain bike stage race in the world. It's a stage to perform in, but it's also an elusive race to win. I mean, you see the perfectionists that the team bulls are, with all of their equipment, their preparation, their training, the lead up to the
Visiting
race.
South Africa.
Almost living here, yeah. So, there are some things that we've done to up our game, but again, one small crash and fate can change very quickly.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Cool.
Well, guys, thanks very much for joining us, and best of luck. Go out and have some fun. I'm sure you're going to be back again next year. Yeah.
For
have
sure.
a blast.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for having us.
There we go. Topeak Ergon B team. Time now for Sarah Haig's little feature, the fly through, and or the rider's eye view, should I say. Sarah goes and has a look behind the scenes today. She takes us into the tented village to see how the riders enjoy the life of the camper.
Hi, welcome to today's Rider Eye View. Yesterday we were in the showers and today we were in the tents. It takes almost 3 days to erect the tents in each race village. 3 race villages, about 2,000 tents per race village. About 1,000 is for the riders and the rest is for crew. Hello.
Hi.
What is your name?
Rory.
Is it your first year riding the Epic?
It is indeed, yeah.
And what are you doing at the moment?
We're just packing and getting ready to move to Boschendal, so getting ready to go there, ride to there, bags go off, so yeah.
Okay, cool. And when was the last time you stayed in a tent?
It was about a year ago, to be honest with you, so yeah, I'm a little bit taller now, so head to toe, so yeah, it was in England, so you can imagine what the weather's like there, so it's nothing like this, beautiful place, so really nice, yeah.
Hello, what is your name?
Hello, my name is Evangelina Vinci.
Where are you from?
Argentina.
That's amazing. What are you doing at the moment?
I'm packing my clothes, my dress in my bag.
And how long is it going to take you to finish packing?
Oh, 5 hours. No, 10 minutes, I suppose.
So I'm looking for an unsuspecting rider to ask what they're doing. Here, we found one. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, what is your name?
My name is Hein.
Where are you from?
I'm from South Africa.
I heard the accent. Where are you from in South Africa?
From Limpopo province, in a small town called Mokopane.
Oh, that's amazing. We haven't had many riders from Limpopo. So what were you doing before we came and interrupted you?
I'm trying to settle myself for tomorrow. We're traveling tomorrow, and after a hard day of riding, you need to rehydrate and get yourself sorted out and plan your packing and everything. So there's a lot of administration going on in this little space here.
How did you pack for this event?
Well, we plan it daily. So what we usually do is we pack every day's clothes and the nutrition, everything that you might need in a Ziploc bag, and pack it separately. And tomorrow the dirty clothes goes back into it. It's packed back in it again. So it's planned day by day and packed that way.
So if you're planning on doing a multi-stage mountain bike race in the future, we all recommend that you pack each day in a Ziploc bag so you don't need to even worry about what you're wearing the next day. Well, that wraps up our Rider's Eye View for today, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thanks very much, Sarah. There we go. We will have more of Sarah and her look behind the scenes with the Rider's Eye View tomorrow. I stay in a tent, Ben. How about you?
Of course.
Are you in a tent as well?
I tried staying in a camper van once. What we did is we tried to edit and sleep in a camper van. And quite quickly it became sort of a humming, warm, horrible place to be. There was hard drives buzzing away, and it just got hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. Tents are better.
They're great. I'm loving it. I'm loving my tent. Right, time now to talk about those wonderful little cameras that are bringing a whole new spin on adventure sport, and in particular the Absa Cape Epic. And that camera, of course, is the GoPro. And I'm joined by Nick Barr, the marketing manager at Omnico, who provide us the GoPros. Nick, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks very much for having us.
Needless to say, the cameras have become an integral part of the experience for the viewer, for the GoPro viewer. I mean, obviously, you're delighted. It must be a lot of fun for you to be involved in the product.
Yeah, I think the Epic lends itself to some pretty amazing footage, and you know, from us for us from a content point of view, there's great content, top riders. I mean, it's just a fantastic place to be, and a great week for us to be part of.
Is there anything in particular that you would see happening in terms of the future? I mean, I know that GoPro are continuously evolving and bringing out new ideas, but do you see any major changes in terms of the GoPro cameras?
Yeah, I think this year's race we're seeing a lot of quite new technology. I mean, we're seeing Stefan ride the media bike, the electric bike, with, you know, we're looking at 360-degree views, which is fantastic. You know, we're looking at live broadcast with HD footage, which is also, you know, amazing from a viewer's perspective at home. Yeah, and also stabilizers. You know, a lot of guys these days, you know, media bikes, and you know, with live broadcast, the sort of stabilizers coming in, which means the footage is much steadier and much sharper as well, which again, just from those who are not lucky enough to be taking part, you know, you put the rider sort of in the group, it's really making for some amazing viewing.
I think from our point of view, certainly we get all the footage coming in, and we sift through, you know, the hours and hours and whatever else. But it's funny because with the riders, they don't always remember to turn them on because they've got too many things going on in their heads, and so sometimes it's sort of a last thing on their list, but it's the first thing on our list. Sometimes those are the golden moments that you can't capture any other way, by helicopters because there's trees, or because they can't get bikes in there, or whatever else. But some of those moments, from our point of view, end up, you know, they could be played in Sweden or Denmark or America or Canada, any of these news channels that take our news feed. And if the riders realize that, I think they'd be much more proactive at remembering to turn them on. But I mean, I always sort of wonder, you know, we look at the majority of the footage, but there must be bits that we don't see. I'm just wondering what sort of untoward bits you come across along the way.
Well, Jeff was just asking the guys earlier, the guys from Topeak, you know, if there's anything that happens at the Epic that stays at the Epic, and so I think on that score, there's a lot of footage which should probably stay at the Epic. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, there's, you know, turning the cameras on is a big thing for us, and you know, we have probably close to 75 cameras here at the race, so there's always footage that doesn't make it out there for whatever reason, and we spend a lot of time, you know, after the Epic going through that footage again and putting some pretty amazing content out there. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff which doesn't quite make it, and we have a giggle about it at the office, but largely the best bits do make it out onto TVs. Speaking about the best bits, any fan of the Absa Cape Epic remembers the big moment, and you know which moment I'm talking about, the buck. Robert Mennon's buck. Yeah, old Buck Norris. So funny enough, we still have, we're having a look at it now, but we still have the camera, Buck Norris, sitting at our sort of museum cupboard at the office. But yeah, I mean that just shows how real footage. It's a pretty hectic race out there, and the guys are really struggling. But no, I mean there's amazing stuff like that which happens, which you just can't script, you can't write. And what a great way to capture it.
Yeah, and I mean, I clearly remember being in the studio, sitting there at the Absa Cape Epic and seeing this bit of footage come running in, and it's almost like the entire media room came to a standstill. Everybody was going crazy. This video went viral. Yeah. So, and you say you have still got that original camera?
Yeah, we've got it back at the office. It's under lock and key. It's there for safekeeping. But no, it's. I mean, this is what the Cape Epic's all about, and this is the reason why we want to bring the cameras to the Epic to catch those memories.
Yeah.
And just sorry, go on.
If you want to watch the morning show with Gerald de Kock every morning from 10 o'clock, Stefan Zam, the samurai, of course, another Absa Cape Epic legend, riding with that multiple camera with the 360-degree views, it's providing the most insane visuals, as we can see now on screen. It's amazing on the e-bike. It's so exciting the way it's taking people into the race.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just added a fantastic dimension to the race. You've never been able to experience this from your couch at home before. Seeing what it's actually like, the terrain the guys are riding, sometimes the speeds at which they're riding it, and then to be able to see that in 360 is just incredible. So hopefully we see a lot more of it next year. I mean, I know Stefan's had his hands full trying to follow some of the ladies and some of the mixed teams, but who knows? Maybe next year we can get more of the guys in there. Because I just think from a viewing perspective, it really has lifted what Big Shot Media and the Absa Cape Epic are doing to a completely new level.
I must admit, I was really excited to see that, because I'm doing I'm making the highlight show at the end. So we're doing a half-hour highlight show for the men and a half-hour highlight show for the women. It's equal prize money, it's equal airtime. So I mean, for me, I sort of saw Stefan on the bike and whatever else, see it set up, and the footage coming back is just phenomenal. You really get an impression of the speed that they're going at, and certainly, he's been great because he's been going up to the men, back to the women, and he's such a high-class rider, and he's got such experience here that he's the perfect man for the job. But I mean, I'm just wondering what more can you do to make it even better?
Well, I think to make it better next year, Stefan's agreed to get off his electric bike and get back onto a normal full SAS. So hopefully, we see. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. No, I think from just, as I said earlier, I think following more of the race would be fantastic. And, we've been working with the guys from Dimension Data with the hotspots, being able to broadcast live from more areas. So I think, the more live footage we can show of the entire stage, that will, take things into a completely different direction. And as I said, having, more people being able to follow, there's so many races within the stages that we see here. It's impossible to follow, for Stefan to be everywhere. So I think if we could get a couple more Stefans, we'd be in a good place.
Yeah,
I think a lot of teams would like a few more Stefans.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of, I mean, there's obviously some amazing coverage coming through from Big Shot Live. We're using all the GoPros, and one of the interesting things about Stefan and the e-bike is a little bit demoralizing at some stages. I remember Rion saying after stage 1 or stage 2 of the Epic, she was really hanging on a big climb, and she sees a wheel next to her, and then she looks and realizes it's the samurai Stefan with his e-bike, and she said it's just soul destroying. This guy's with you, but he's got this e-bike, and
we see it's a bit nerve-wracking for some of the lead guys as well. I mean, I remember Urs was saying we see the footage of Stefan coming up behind them, and then Urs looking over his shoulder thinking that he's being chased by somebody, and Stefan's going, "Don't worry, it's only me," and they head on, carry on, Yeah.
Well, he also has the unfair advantage. I mean, I saw him spend about 15 and a half minutes at a watering point yesterday, and he came in with the lead men and he left with the lead ladies, and by the time he hit the next watering point, he was back with the lead men. So, I mean, it just shows what he can get through in a day in terms of the filming. But yeah, I mean, it's a great sort of opportunity for us here at the Epic.
And I think for him as well, I mean, it's not plain sailing. He does get punches too. He has to pull over at the side of the road and fix punches too. So it's not just everybody else.
And he doesn't have a support team either. So it's I guess he's doing his own work.
Yeah. Nick, thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to a growing relationship with GoPro. Thanks very much, and yeah.
No, thanks again for having us. Thank you.
There we have chatting to Nick Barr, the marketing manager at Omnico for GoPro South Africa. Time now for the epic Energade moment, and if Robert Menon's moment had been today, that's what we would be watching, but it wasn't. But let's go out and see what today's epic Energade moment was.
Epic Energade moments. Energade, the official sports drink supplier to the Absa Cape Epic.
That's our epic Energade moment for today. For tomorrow, it is the penultimate stage of the 2016 Absa Cape Epic. It is 69 kilometers, and we now are going to take a fly through and have a look at what the riders, both leaders and backmarkers respectively, can look forward to as they set out tomorrow.
Stage 6. Another shorter day lies ahead, but with 30% of the stage on single track, it'll be a good test of your skills. The first 6 kilometers are fast on flattish tar and farm roads. The next 15 kilometers until the first water point, you'll be skirting the slopes of the Simonsberg mountain, moving between the vineyards and the Simonsberg Conservancy. You may notice the extensive fire damage from the devastating fires in December. This is challenging terrain with some difficult climbs, but there is some mind-blowing single track. The next 18-kilometer section to Water Point 2 includes some of the best single-track riding of the event, and although the fire damage is evident, the stark landscape makes for spectacular vistas. Soon after Water Point 2, you will head up to the Old Helshoogte Pass before passing through a short tunnel. It is dark, so be careful, and also get ready for the steep Botmanskop climb. Yet another stunning new single track will lead you down the Land Rover technical terrain section, Skyfall. Lovingly built, this series of switchbacks is fast and smooth, and the turns are tight. So don't get distracted by the amazing views down the valley. Keep calm and cycle on. The final water point is at 53 kilometers, and you'll head further into the Bahnhoek Conservancy. As you round the valley, you'll head off on a final, almost 6 kilometer of single track. There are 2 distinct sections. The descent at the 59 kilometer mark sees some fairly loose, stony and rutted surfaces, so take care. The final section of single track through the Wattles is taxing, especially after 6 days in the saddle. The last 5 kilometers back to Boschendal is mostly downhill on farm roads, but there are more loose rocky parts, so don't relax too much.
And that was what the cyclists can look forward to tomorrow. At the back end of that graphic, we saw actual footage of the terrain that the guys and girls will be on tomorrow. Joining us in studio now, a man who doesn't need too much introduction, Rion Manster. He's a great friend of mine. Rion, surely you could have showered before you came and sat here.
Yeah, I was just a little bit busy today, so yeah, I was, otherwise, but I thought there was some smell in this studio, but I don't know what it was.
Rion, firstly, nice to see you again. And again, third set of guests in a row that are not having a great epic. Obviously, you and Vasti doing the epic last year.
Yeah.
For those of you, by the way, any people who don't know Rion, he's an adventurer of note in South Africa and around the world. He's cycled around Africa, he's kayaked around Iceland, he's gone around Madagascar, he's gone in a paddle boat with Vasti from Africa to New York. And you've done the Absa Cape Epic with Vasti last year.
We did it last year, and this year was supposed to be our second. So, we were looking at getting closer to the Amababezi, and hearing the legend about it was something that we were looking forward to. for her on stage 2 to fall and have a big fall. I mean, it was a hard one, and broke her hip. I mean, that's pretty serious, and in theatre right now, busy putting it back together.
Okay, and tell us, Rion, on that fall, where were you in relation? Were you behind her? Did you see the whole thing unfold?
No, I was in front of her, but when you ride with somebody for a while, you sort of know the sound, what happens behind you, what type of fall it is, and that's how you also get to know the partner. And the fall was a big thud. It wasn't a beautiful part. It was in that that expanse with the white rocks on stage 2 in the Witzenberg Valley, and when I knew she made contact with the ground, I knew it was pretty serious. But the guys joke, obviously when you've got a partner and you ride with them a lot, you know how they are and how they react. And for me, I was trying to give Fasti Nachi. I was open to Nachi, and I was trying to give her Nachi. Yes, she's sitting with the broken hip. We only know that afterwards, but of course I'm trying to be positive and say to her, have another Nachi, have another Nachi. And a friend of mine, Marius, who's also riding now, he's also riding alone, and he stood there, shame, and he was trying to be sensitive, but all he can remember is me trying to feed the girl with the broken hip a Nachi.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at any good medical journal and you have a look, if you do have a bad break, what does it say? Have a Nachi.
Yeah, that's right. I was actually just trying to give her some sugar to have her calm down. Shame, she was in a bit of panic, but the epic is supposed to be epic, and I don't think that people come here to have an easy race. So people can sometimes say a stage wasn't fun for them, it wasn't perfect, but goodness, for amateurs, and especially people like us who are having the privilege to ride alongside professionals, we want to know that it's going to be tough. And it has been tough these last 5 days, 6 days.
Rion, your relationship with Vasti, obviously it's been tested on the extreme when you crossed the Atlantic in the boat. I mean, it was obviously, you guys must have had some ups and downs in that relationship. You then had, you did the Absa Cape Epic last year. I mean, were there times during either of these trips where you were tested?
Of course, sure. This epic, sure, day one, Fasti gave me hell also. She was just, I'm trying to encourage, and there's a fine line between encouragement and harassment, as Fasti says, and you're trying to say, hey, let's keep it going, let's keep moving, but also it's good to be able to have a platform you can communicate honestly on. So for us rowing from New York, from Africa to New York, it's the longest row in history, man. 11,000 kilometers. People have crossed the Atlantic, which is 4,500 kilometers. We were in that boat for 4.5 months.
And it's not a big boat.
No, shoulder to shoulder, no human being contact. So the record for us not speaking to each other was 2.5 days, not one word.
I was going to say, who wears the trousers?
No, I don't, without a doubt. There's no chance. Fasti's in charge.
Wow. I've got this beautiful story about Fasti on last year's Absa Cape Epic, finishing in Merendal, stopping on the top of the last hill and bursting into tears. Tell us that story.
Yeah, man, it is the epic, and many people have this story, but it sort of tells you the allure that the epic has and the draw it has. But we're about to finish. You've got the single track, that beautiful single track to finish, 3-4 kilometers. Fasti stands on top of this stairway to heaven. She looks at me and she's dead serious, but she is crying and crying, and she says to me, if I mention doing the epic ever again, kill me. And then I said, okay, no problem. We went down, she carried on crying till the finish, and here we are again. Shame. And now she's got a broken hip.
Yeah, and she's probably bursting to come back next year.
I hope so.
Rion, how do you play out the remainder of your epic? What are the emotions that are going through you? I mean, do you attack it, or do you just go out and obviously she's on your mind a lot while you're cycling?
No, I tell you what, the theory is that you just say, I am obviously not as fit as a pro rider, but I want to guts it out, and for me, I have to manage myself. After Fasti fell, I tried to race to the finish to be able to see how she did. I went an hour too quick, as what I've planned. So I try to hold back yesterday, I try to hold back again today, and for the next 2 days, hopefully I can just hold back enough to get the medal. But it's not fun doing it on your own. People say there's others out there that are riding on their own. They've had this similar scenario to what you have had, but people aren't in sync. It really is a team thing, and that's what makes it also special. You have to stay together as a team. I miss Fasti on the route.
I'm going to say, it's obviously going well because you're going to get married soon. Is that right?
Yeah. I must tell you another story that Fasti also just, she's at the hospital. We have a little bit of a honeymoon expedition planned, and we she's worried about this honeymoon expedition because we're getting married on the 7th of May. So I see the doctor the night after he's consulted with her and done scans, and he says to me, listen, this is the break, and he shows me on the x-ray where the break is. So I'm very concerned, and I think, shucks, what is going to happen? Because I know there's the expedition, but we have to get married 7th of May. The doctor says to me, listen, your fiance was in tears and she's very stressed because she knows there's this expedition you're going on and she wants to know if she can recover. And I said, doctor, did she mention the wedding? And he said, no, what wedding? So he didn't even know about the wedding. So Fussy saw that as more serious.
So the wedding dress isn't a concern. Getting into that's not going to be a problem. It's more the expedition that she's worried about.
No, she's. I think Fussy is. I actually know that she's a bit down right now, but she'll be looking forward to just getting up and doing the next epic. She just wants to recover. I think the epic has made this a very memorable week for her.
Rion, any other big adventures outside of the Absa Cape Epic that you can tell us about now, or is there stuff that's been kept under wraps?
We've got something big happening for our business. You know, we've got a nice global reach now, and my journeys aren't just about adventure. It's probably something that captivates people's mind, but we have got something global that's happening probably mid 2016.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you managed to keep yourself company over the final 2 days, and please send my best regards to Vasti. She's a wonderful woman, and I hope she recovers quickly, and I look forward to seeing you both back on the Epic.
Lovely. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Here we go, Rion Mansa chatting to us, and hopefully no problems on the 2 days. Time now to wrap it up with a look at tomorrow's spectator points, and we have got 3 very nice points being in the Stellenbosch area, of course revolving around wine, Ben. And the 3 spectator points tomorrow, and the advice that I give every day is I suggest you try and get there early. It is going to get very, very crowded, A, because it's Stellenbosch, the wine region, and B, because it is Saturday tomorrow. It is the weekend, so everyone's off work. 8 Cake is the first of the spectator points. Some amazing trails, some beautiful breakfasts that they're going to be preparing for you as well. Then Delheim, and then Banhoek, the farm Banhoek.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. I have to say, this is a wonderful vineyard tour we're on, with a bit of mountain biking in the middle. But it's such a spectacular area, and it's certainly an area I always look forward to coming to. It's a wonderful place.
Yeah, so we hope to see you guys at the race village tomorrow to welcome the riders. Join the viewers tomorrow morning, please, at 10 o'clock with Gerald de Kock, and see some of that amazing footage as the final big stage. In fact, tomorrow is Saturday, so they're going out at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So join from 9. You can see that amazing footage as they hit the last big stage before Sunday's run-in to Merendal Wine Estate, the grand finale. From the team here at Inside 8 Days of Coverage, from Ben, from me, Jeff Aliff, thanks very much for joining us. Same time tomorrow at 4:30 until 5:15. Have a wonderful evening.